friends, fans, rock nerds, welcome to Season 3 of the Rockwardness Podcast, where every episode we talk to an amazing, inspiring songwriter about how and why they started their writing journey, and they play us one of the earliest songs they can remember. And then we chit-chat, mostly about what happened next and where the musical road has taken them. This season, the road has taken your hosts, that's me, Rose Shawn, Terrence LeClaire, and Tony Tancredi, to Music City itself, motherfucking Nashville, Tennessee. Yes, indeed, the stars aligned and we were able to take our little show on the road to the heart of country music, but also a lot of other music. We got ourselves a suite at the Waymore Guest House and Casual Club, and we interviewed 5 guests in one day. Was it a challenge? Yes. Was it 100% worth it? Absolutely. Not only were our guests the coolest bunch of humans you could hope to meet in a red state or anywhere else, we enjoyed the heck out of Nashville, and if you're ever there, do check out the Waymore. It is so awesome, and the staff there are just the kindest, most accommodating folks. And their mini fridges look like Marshall stacks, so over the course of Season 3, we will be peppering in episodes from our very fun field trip to the LA of the East, and honestly, probably my favorite U.S. city. Sorry, Portland. Kicking off this season is an artist we just couldn't align schedules with in LA, so we had to stalk him all the way to the Smoky Mountains. His voice is like butter, and we have it on good authority. Aaron Marsh from Copeland says so. He is the most personable person. He's signed to Jay-Z's Rock Nation. He's toured with the likes of James Vincent McMorrow, Alessia Cara, Mumford & Sons, James Bay, and Copeland. Check out our episode with Copeland. Oh, and by the way, he was Grammy nominated for writing the first track on Beyonce's Lemonade album, Pray You Catch Me. So if you're not hip to Kevin Garrett yet, now you are. We talk about the power of writing on paper, the challenges of growing facial hair, the influence of soul music, and the time and the place for the Notes app. He buries the lead on Beyonce, but he lets us know what he really thinks about Robert Plant, so stay tuned for a gorgeous acoustic version of a song he wrote when he was just 14 years old. He is the real ass deal, and you're about to hear all about it. From Tony's suite at the Waymore, here's our long-awaited bro hang with Kevin Garrett.
Well, you know what actually the trend is? Now they're not even doing the podcast, they're just setting it up to look like a podcast, and they're posting 30-minute clips.
Yeah.
But I had this idea to just read ads. That's the episode of the podcast.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like this episode brought to you by MeUndies.
Right, and Audible.com.
Yeah, ZipRecruiter.
And, ZipRecruiter.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Oh, Article Furniture.
Yeah, Article. Yeah.
Do you see it? There's a TV show on Apple
Legal
TV
Zoom.
or something. I forgot the name of it. But like there was a thing, it's like in the future where it takes place. And you can do this thing where you get an ad buddy and things are free. And basically it's somebody who walks with you and just reads you ads all day. And it's just like, so it's like they'll pay for your lunch, but they sit with you and read you ads as you eat your lunch.
Oh, that sounds like an absolute nightmare.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it's fun,
That's
right?
the ultimate side hustle. You just have to read.
Yeah.
When I was in New York, I read some statistic one time that bagels are the equivalent of like a single loaf of bread.
Whoa.
One New York bagel. Yeah.
Wow. That's why I like them so much.
Well, the other day, yesterday, it was before the flight. I had 3. So that's
3 whole
good.
bagels?
3 entire bagels.
I'm proud of you. That's
different schmear. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a flavor guy. Yeah.
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 Of
I mean,
course.
that sounds like an everything bagel.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad,
Yeah.
you're starting early.
Oh, come on. Hey.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're here. We made it.
Yes,
Hey,
Kevin.
welcome,
Kevin
Kevin.
Garrett.
Kevin, hi,
Our
Kevin.
Nashville edition. We're at the Waymore's Guest House and Casual Club in Nashville.
Yeah.
We are very excited to have you. This is our first Nashville session. The sun is shining in the window.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, this is a beautiful room.
We just want to shout out to Ella Voss for hooking us up and making this equipment
Yeah.
situation
Big
happen.
shout to Lauren. Thank you so much. We're using all her gear
Yeah.
to record this. This is the start of season 3.
Yeah.
Very
Happy to be
excited.
here.
I've been trying to get you for a while.
I know I've been
hounding you.
It's been a minute. I've not felt hounded by any stretch. Oh, that's just the classic schedule and clash. But yeah, it's been a good long time. I'm happy to be here. I should be saying welcome.
Yeah.
Because I live here now, but I I don't feel quite settled yet. So
Yeah.
I moved in around Labor Day, and I think I've spent all of 10 days in my place. So
wow.
yeah, the last time I got home, it was late on a Saturday, and I was flying very early the next day. And I have all these visions to decorate or like set up my place. And I just get tired. And then I sit there and watch like TikToks, and then I go to the airport. Yeah.
That makes
Relatable.
sense.
Almost all the boxes are unpacked.
Good, yeah.
And I have my video games ready to go.
Good.
So,
Yeah.
Important stuff.
My man.
That's what I care about. That's what matters. Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. I'm typically kind of a slow mover in general, so this is pretty good. My initial thought was I'll have my studio ready by Halloween. By the end of the year's the new target, so hopefully that'll pan out.
I think it will.
Who knows?
Well, that's what's going on now. But let's rewind back to little baby Kevin.
He's probably so cute.
Oh my gosh, I
baby
know.
I can't grow a beard to save my life. Yeah.
Yeah, right. You could.
No, trust me.
You would look basically just the same, just a lot smaller.
Yeah, I think I look younger if I grow my facial hair out
Oh, funny. Yeah.
because it's just so out of place. It's very patchy.
Really?
Yeah, I tried so hard during the pandemic to try growing out my facial hair, and it just, when I was younger, I had like a bit more red hair too. It's like a strawberry blonde type thing. Turned
really?
into this, whatever this is, brown. and so some of my facial hair has a bit of a red hue to it if I really let it go. So I just decided to shave more regularly and get carded everywhere.
Oh, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I'm going to ride it out as long as I can.
Oh, yeah.
When I was on tour recently in Europe, all the people that came up to the merch table afterwards were asking me how old I was, and I would just tell them to guess. And nobody guessed 32. So everybody like max 26, and I was like,
Oh, that's great.
I'll take
Nice.
it.
Wicked
Yeah.
case of young face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's also for somebody who is 32 and singing songs, and people think I'm 26. It also kind of feels like on stage. My first song I ever released turned 9 this year, and I want to say that there are more people in the crowd this time around that are closer to 9 and closer to my age. So it's starting to put voices in my head. Feels good. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, you still got it. Still appealing to the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really just focused on like my waistline. If I can keep that like younger than my age,
Yeah.
smaller than my age, then that's good.
Yeah, same, honestly. So, Kevin, tell us how music first entered your life.
Sure. I started playing music when I was 4. My parents are very creative, but both excelled in the science fields in life, and I'm the oldest, but my 2 younger sisters, they've given us every opportunity to like pursue some artistic stuff if we wanted to. And at first they were like, you just have to have this in your life, because I love baseball, I played lacrosse, and got really big into hockey too. I just wanted to play sports.
Nice.
And I still wish I could be a professional baseball player. That would be tight.
That'd be
But yeah, but I got hooked on the violin when I was 4 years old. They took me to this like strings academy,
Oh.
and it wasn't like the type of school where like you do your coursework and it's like when you get recruited at like a soccer school or whatever. It was like a after school extracurricular thing. And we had group classes, theory, oral comprehension, and performance, along with private lessons. And basically we did a tour of the facility, and we went through each private lesson, all the different instruments they taught. And we went through cello, double bass, viola, piano. I took a couple piano lessons before, and it was the type of instructor that like slapped you on your wrist with
Oh,
a ruler.
no.
So I was kind of out on that.
Yeah.
Got hooked on violin and played it backwards.
Whoa.
What do you mean backwards?
So basically, like, you're supposed to use your right hand to bow,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm ear trained for the most part. So immediately I was listening to songs on the cassette tape for the first book, and I picked it up this way, because I'm left-handed,
Oh.
and started playing the songs backwards. My parents weren't paying attention. We go to the first lesson, and my teacher's like, "You idiot!" And
You idiot.
Yeah, well, in kind of a encouraging way, I guess.
Yeah.
Enthusiastic.
That's
It's so
funny.
trippy. Yeah.
You're like the Jimi Hendrix of violin.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to brag, but and then I kind of went really heavy duty into violin and composition and did all of the sort of youth symphony orchestras and everything, and eventually started picking up other instruments just kind of on my own if they made it into the house. So my dad bought a guitar for himself, and I stole it. And then,
What kind of
Smart.
guitar?
is a Taylor 314.
Nice.
Oh.
I still have it. It's like my favorite. I don't take it out anymore, but he hasn't asked for it back.
Yeah. Oh, it's yours.
Yeah.
Yours, Dad.
That's shout out.
Yeah,
We love
shout out,
supportive
Dad.
parents.
It's been kind of I've never taken a guitar lesson, and really haven't since I was a toddler. Haven't taken a piano lesson, so the violin is really drilled like ear training, and I can still read music, but I'm very lucky to just have those things on either side of my head to kind of like keep me in tune.
Learning just the subtleties of getting tones on a violin, did that like inform your guitar playing, you think, where you kind of approach it that way?
Yeah, I would say so. The shapes on the violin, especially for if I'm pits or bowing chords or any sort of double stops or anything, make sense to me even now. I got into college on the violin and then kind of weaned off of it when I started really playing out in New York, because it was just so intense. You have to practice so
Oh, yeah.
much. And if you imagine starting at 4 and then 18 going all the way
Good
into
Lord.
school.
I
it's
can't
kinda
imagine
like-
that, honestly.
Yeah, I was kind of over it. And I was already
Yeah.
writing songs at that point, and I didn't know how the music industry worked. I just knew that I liked writing songs and recording them in a program called Audacity.
Yeah.
And then once I got my first iPod Touch, I started using GarageBand, or first MacBook, started using GarageBand a little bit. I think the way I play guitar now, a lot of the songs, even ones that I wrote in standard tuning or on the keyboard, I'll tune the guitar in the intervals that the violin is in, because the
Oh,
shapes make sense, my hands and everything, and I can. It's a bit jumpier sometimes, but I don't have to look down as much because I'm just like muscle memory on the way the violin kind of moves, and you don't have frets on a violin, and it's much smaller, so you have to be very precise.
It's trippy. I wonder why they never made like fretless guitars, you know, because they have fretless basses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're getting there. There's like a couple like digital guitars.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
And the
Digital
frets,
guitars.
The frets are kind of, and some people, a lot of jazz musicians like to sand their frets down.
Yeah.
Because they just like glide over it, and if you have flat wounds on like a flat fretboard, it's pretty
It's
sick.
a wild sound.
yeah.
Actually, you were saying the violin is smaller. I was curious, like, if you were trying all these instruments as a 4-year-old, did they have like little mini double basses and like little mini cellos?
Yeah. So
I mean, how would you even play have like a regular size double
With the
bass as a
tiniest
tiny
hand.
child?
Yeah.
they have typically, I think, 4 sizes: a quarter, half, 3/4, and full size. And so I was a pretty big kid. So I think I jumped right to half or 3/4 size. And then my grandmother had a violin that is even bigger than a full size. And once that was handed down to me, it was big at first, and I grew into it. But it's almost the size of a viola, which is a bit bigger. And yeah, for the double bass and the cello, they have the kids version,
Little
and you kind
mini-
of grow up with it. Yeah.
That must be adorable.
So cute.
Yeah.
I know. Can you imagine? I'm like imagining like a extra youth orchestra, like the elementary school kids.
Yeah.
God, that blows my mind that you played violin for so long, and it, like,
You went to school for it. Yeah.
yeah, at a serious enough level that you like went to college for it.
Well, it got me into college, and then I went to school for audio engineering.
Oh, okay.
Oh. what?
Music and audio and music technology, and so I didn't have to. I still did some regional symphonies, some pit orchestras, and some film score stuff. But the conservatories that I was applying to that required more of like an 8-hour-a-day practice regimen. The school I went to in New York was a bit more chill because the focus was knobs and buttons. So that's kind of when I sort of didn't burn out on it, but I didn't have as much time to practice the way I used to. And then it was in New York City, and then I started playing shows with myself or with the band that I had put together, and violin
So
kind
many
of took a back
questions.
seat. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it like learning on analog, just like boards and stuff?
Yeah. So right when I went to NYU for school, the owner of the Knicks, his two kids were in the program with me. One of them was a bit older, and the other one was a freshman when I was a sophomore. And they put in this multi-million-dollar state-of-the-art studio designed for class with at the time, this AWS, like SSL workstation that was half analog, and then they had a little button. You could make it an entire Pro Tools controller.
Wow.
That's so rad.
It was sick.
Yeah.
I didn't get to use it as much because they devoted the room to either recording, like stuff would come in all the time for grad students to record. So Lenny Pickett is the SNL saxophone player. He would come in every week, and we would record the band because he had a student version of it for the jazz program. And then like this guy Bashiri Johnson came in a couple times. He's Michael Jackson's auxiliary percussion player.
Oh, wow.
So we would have just, because it's New York, right? So we would have just random guests just coming in. The school across the street was more entrepreneurial in the music business. They had like Questlove and Pharrell and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's where Pharrell discovered
Maggie,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that's
that
a whole
video, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'd like to back up just a little bit. So when did you first pick up the guitar?
Yeah, probably when I was. He got that guitar. We had other ones that were busted. Like I think I have a knack for stealing instruments from relatives. There was this little guitar that was, I think, a nylon string, so the neck was big. I would just like fiddle around on that. But then once he got the Taylor, I think it was maybe 9 or 10 at the oldest, probably. Started playing that nonstop. I think he couldn't even go to his lessons. My dad, because he couldn't find the guitar. And then started writing songs when I was, stuff that I like appreciated when I was like 12 or 13. And even back then it was kind of like, okay, this is cool because I'm listening to whatever John Mayer or Jack Johnson or the singer-songwriter thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, these are cool dudes that are singing songs. I can do this. And was sort of like emulating those songwriting styles. And then once I got a bit deeper into high school, I started to kind of realize the way that I now try to continue to adopt and translate my influences. Whereas before it was just kind of like, okay, what are the exact chords of this song that I like listening to? I'm going to learn those and then just like sing something on top of it.
Right.
But yeah, around like before I could drive, because I had this song sitting around forever. Wrote a couple songs that stuck in a folder for years, and one of them made it onto my album that came out like half a life later.
Oh, wow.
But
On Hoax?
on Hoax, yeah.
What's that song called?
It's called Telescopes.
Yeah.
I wrote it when I was, I want to say 14.
Wow.
Well, gives the benefit of the doubt. And yeah, I used to handwrite everything. I still try to if I'm in sessions with other artists, if I'm working together on their stuff, or if I'm doing my own thing, I try to have a legal pad because it helps you focus on the context. Everyone's just like typing into their notes app all the time. And
I can't understand it.
yeah, and trust me, I get down with that because it's fast.
Yeah.
And like if you hate the session you're in and and you're good enough at your job, like just type it out and just get it over with. Share it on iCloud and say I have to go. But yeah, I love. There's some studios in LA and certainly here too where they have pads and pens like at the desk still, like it's very old school.
That's
And
nice.
I love seeing that because
Nice.
I'll just go hide out in the corner and just start writing.
Oh, I'm like, is that old
love
school? Because that just seems
Legal
like
pad.
what you would do. I mean, I don't
Now
know
it's
the
iPads and Apple Pens or whatever.
Yeah.
the straightest line between my emotional brain and communicating that in writing is like handwriting.
Right.
Yeah, with
Right?
journaling's the same way. Like, they say if you journal, use like handwriting because that gets
Yeah.
it out better.
Oh, we're all on the same page. Yeah.
That's
But I
funny,
mean, I
same
don't know. I
page.
kind of
Yeah,
wonder,
yeah.
maybe Gen Z has like developed a different neural pathway that we just can't understand. I don't know.
The street youths are out here
These
doing all this
kids.
high tech stuff.
Yeah. Typing in their telephones.
I will say occasionally if I'm working with an artist or a writer or producer that is, for better or worse, very particular or like super picky on things. Sometimes you go in a session in LA and it's like there's an A&R in the room the whole time. It's nice to just have it in the shared note, because then I don't even have to like do anything. It's like, look, if you want to edit this, then go for it. I'm here. This is what I have.
Neat.
Versus like, I guess the other thing is I'm kind of messy on the pad, so I'll just like I'll write like 2 lines of something, get sidetracked, flip the page, write something else, and it's all for the same song. And so good luck figuring out what's going on if I'm not there. But
That's probably fun to flip through that later, though.
Yeah.
well, yeah. When I was moving to Nashville from Pittsburgh this past summer, I went through all my old notes and everything. I'm a bit of a hoarder when it comes to that stuff. And I found...
That's good.
Yeah, I found like crumpled up, folded up sheets for songs that have been out for a while now, and you can kind of see the process in the handwriting, and it's cool. It's cool to have those still. There's songs that I forget about that I remember loving, and now I'm reintroduced to them, and
That's so
they're
awesome.
on the short list again. So
Yeah.
Would you ever take pictures of it? Like,
Yeah.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, we'd love a couple photos to put on the
I'll track
the
them
old
down.
Insta.
Yeah, they're in one of the boxes that's still left. I have to unpack, but
Yeah.
I have like my little studio boxes.
Yeah. It's funny. I mean, that's kind of like how I got the idea for this show, is because I like had this box of journals, or, journals / songwriting notebooks from being like a 13, 14-year-old. And yeah, like, man, and then looking at that, 10 plus years later, you're like, wow, it's pretty interesting, like time machine.
You can see also what you were going through in that moment, because sometimes I can look at old handwriting or whatever, and if I remember where I was when I was writing that emotionally or whatever, some of the lyrics you come up with are just like, we'll laugh about this later.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a lot of those moments. But I think over the years, for the most part, songwriting has been a gift or a blessing, because it has been the perfect opportunity to refine your reactiveness to things. And I'm typically a pretty close to the vest person anyway. So using that as free therapy and kind of... It's like some people advise, if you have something to say to someone, you write it down and you live with it for a second. Then
That's
then
smart.
You probably wake up the next day just want to delete it because it's not worth it.
Yeah, write the email, don't send it.
Yeah. I always send
Very
it,
smart.
but
I always send it.
I don't listen. But with songwriting, especially going down memory lane like that with older tracks and even things that have come out. I remember I have like different versions of word placement strategy on the pad. So like the right column of the legal pad for the longest time would be the verses, and then the left side down would be the choruses and everything, and then occasionally I'd be like, I'm gonna get my shit together and I'm just gonna write in order. And then it lasts like maybe 1 or 2 songs, and then it goes back to sort of my little madness and whatever. And I think writers that really utilize that, like sort of handwritten physical writing, have their own sort of ways of getting from A to B, and it's a pretty interesting case study on how our brains work, I think.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And also, like, I mean, it makes sense because, like, you listen to a song and it's like, okay, you got the verse and then the chorus and whatever, but like, what you want to say doesn't necessarily come out in that order. It makes sense, like, on the page where you're just like, this is my main point, these are my side points or whatever, you
Right.
know? Yeah, I love that.
That is interesting. Now I really want to see a page.
Yeah.
Same, very badly.
But
I have one that I sent to my Discord server earlier this year, and it was, I'm pretty sure it was a song that I wrote for Beyonce. And the way I wrote that one was, it's weird. The way I wrote that one was, one of my favorite types of poetry is called erasure poetry.
Yeah.
And it was unintentional. I just basically wrote a journal entry. I was on this was 2013 13. I might not have even graduated from school at that point. And I was on a DL4 pedal in my childhood bedroom. Everybody that went to music school had a Line 6 DL4 pedal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's funny.
And I was like tinkering with like the loop setting that they could do. You could have double time if you tapped one of the buttons. Anyway, so I just made this little loop, and it was just going on. And I think I annoyed my parents that day because it was coming through the amp pretty loud. And I just started writing on this yellow legal pad, and once I got a melody in my head, just started scratching out words. And then I found that piece of paper, and it was just cool to. It's something I probably won't. If I tried to do it, I won't do it again because it was such a fun, like, connective thing. It's those types of moments that you can't really chase after.
Yeah, almost like an exercise or something.
Exactly,
like let's just try doing it the other way.
Yeah,
Love that.
and I find like the songs that I'm most proud of are the ones that happen in the least conventional sort of method. So there's another song that I wrote called Never Knock that I think is some of my better, like, more poetic writing, and it was a homework assignment.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, wow.
It was for a songwriters forum class, and it was throwaway class. Like, I was graduating pretty soon, and I needed to get credits. And at first, I was excited because I wanted to sort of use the class as an opportunity to collaborate. But it turned out to be just very individualized study type thing.
Oh, interesting.
So we would just come in and it's like, these are our songs, and just try stuff out. And I remember the guest lecturer for that class when I brought that song in was Roseanne Cash.
Oh, wow.
And she and the instructor at the time both kind of looked at the rest of the class and was like, this is good. And I was like, that's the coolest thing anyone's ever said.
Hell
It's
yeah.
good.
Very
Nice.
validating.
Yeah. And they had notes for everything, and then they got to my song, and they were like, it was almost like Roseanne wanted to like get in the room on the song versus like just critiquing it. And that was a really cool honor. And
Yeah.
it made it on my first EP, and it's a song I don't play very often, but I played it the other night in New York because everybody in New York asks for it. It's just so tremendously sad. So it's good. It's on brand. But
That's awesome. So you like started writing when you were about 14. I mean, we'd love to hear something from as early as you can remember.
Yeah. Telescopes, right?
yeah, I'll do the telescopes too.
Also, like, I mean, real quick before that, like, we found out how you got into guitar, but when did you discover your voice? Because
Oh yeah,
that is quite the instrument.
thank you. Yeah, I'm on recovery mode from a bit of congestion, so it'll be quite a different type of instrument. But the journey. I think I grew up obviously playing classical music, not very much singing in that. My dad drove me to lessons all the time. He was a big Zeppelin fan, so we listened to classic rock. Singers that yelled and screamed and stuff. Yeah, and so that was what I knew at first, and then I would sing like that, and it would be fine if I was just like playing around, but it didn't feel good. It hurt.
Oh yeah.
So then I got into, when I mowed enough lawns to start buying my own CDs and stuff, I got into like old church music, old soul singers. My first CD I ever bought was like a best of Ray Charles CD.
Oh, nice.
And that sort of opened the doors up to Sam Cooke and some other more like buttery soul singers that even if they were kind of over singing, it was just a different kind of approach to the performance rather than, I mean, Robert Plant is one of the best singers of all time. But he just sings a different way. He's like a screaming polecat. So so it was that sort of dive into soul music and old gospel music, and then even honestly getting more involved in like my school's like sort of jazz community. They got me into Oscar Peterson and some of my favorite piano players that gave me a different sense of like how to sing, because you can listen to some jazz piano players and learn how to sing without ever hearing a vocal note. It's really cool.
Chet Baker, like I think of him always, his style of vocals for jazz, like he sings like trumpet sounds. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, we're talking about
Yeah.
Chet Baker
Yeah.
again.
I love him. Like,
Not the first time his name has come up.
Chet's a beast. And then in the 80s, when he had all his teeth knocked out,
I know. What a story.
He was just doing his thing. Yeah.
Dude.
But yeah, that's what everyone says, that he sings the way he plays.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear your early song.
This is a tune called Telescopes. And I wrote it when I was obviously like way too young to kind of have a concept of my own sort of feelings. So it's kind of like it's a little bit of myself in there, like kind of visualizing myself in a relational sort of capacity, but it was probably influenced by the music I was listening to, which was a bit more like, not emo, but like the pop music that was a lot love driven and everything. So stuff like The Fray and and things kind of in that era. James Vincent McMorrow was, as a friend of mine now, I'm grateful for that. He had some songs on his first record that were a big influence for things, and honestly, like it's never really been too many contemporary acts. I was a big Elton John fan. Again, like old soul music and stuff. So I think sonically, melodically, and vocally, that's where the songwriting is influenced from, and then conceptually, like lyrically, it comes from kind of that more like pop music that was pretty prevalent at the time. I haven't played this one in a while too, so we'll this is a exclusive.
Ooh, exclusive. We love exclusive.
If I would call you on your telephone to come over and look through telescopes, where you'd see stars, I'd see an ounce of hope, 'cause you were coming over on your own. And oh my dear, I fear I'm falling head over heels until I hit your bed. But you and me, I won't ever regret, 'cause in the end you fill my space, it's my emptiness. You wanna settle down, I think that we should talk. You're gonna knock me out, then I'll get carried off. But I'm scared to stop, 'cause oh, I can see your heartbeat through your teeth. No, you're not fooling anyone but me. I came across all of the thoughts when we had only met, but I bet what's inside of me was always more than just some memory. 'Cause since you stayed, you've been changing everything. You're always one that likes to push limits. You're never scared to ever take a risk. If I'm your man, why won't you tell him this old phrase? We're just too damn different. You wanna settle down, I think that we should talk. You're gonna knock me out, I'll get carried off. But I'm scared to stop, 'cause oh, I can see your heartbeat through your teeth. No, you're not fooling anyone but me. Oh, I can see your heartbeat through your teeth. No, you're not fooling anyone but me. You wanna settle down? I think that we should talk. You're gonna knock me out, then I'll get carried off. But I'm scared to stop, 'cause oh, I can see your heartbeat through your teeth. No, you're not fooling anyone but me. Oh, I can see your heartbeat through your teeth. No, you're not fooling anyone but me.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh my God.
so
Okay. And
good.
so
I
how
love your voice so much.
I'm
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah,
And
it held up.
congested? You
I
sound
know.
so amazing.
Good.
I know.
This is
And
tea.
it's funny earlier you said about buttery that you were saying someone's voice was buttery. Your voice is buttery.
Yeah.
That's what Aaron Marsh, shout out Aaron Marsh Copeland. That's what
Oh,
he
yeah.
would say about your buttery voice, and it still sounds so good.
Thanks. Yeah, so maybe I over exaggerated. It's you know how like when
You're
you're
amazing, dude.
when you wake up and you're not feeling good, and then you have like water and eat something,
Oh,
and then it's like, oh, okay, I'll be
wait a
fine.
minute.
Yeah, like, oh, actually.
But-
well, you said it was going to be a different instrument, and I was like, well, like a kazoo or.
Yeah. I've never had to cancel a show because of my voice, but there was one time when I was in my college band. It's called Noble Hunter. We played a basement show the night before, and that was more like indie post rock
Yeah.
type stuff.
Yeah.
No monitors, no anything, just totally wiped.
Just screaming.
Oh, man.
Had a proper show opening for this cool band at the time called Maps and Atlases,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and
yeah, I remember them.
they were pretty sick.
Yeah.
Like kind of mathy.
Yeah.
And it was in Pittsburgh, so I had the family out and everything. It was everyone from home. I was like, yeah, I fucking do this shit. Yeah, I'm a rock star.
Yeah.
And I sounded like Coulter Wall. My voice was 2 octaves lower, and I'm singing the same songs for the band. And I told them ahead of time, I was like, we're gonna do the best we can, but I partied a little too hard the night before, singing some rock songs. Yeah, hopefully I don't, knock on wood, I don't have to. I don't have to do that, but I know that there's artists nowadays that really sing. Like I saw a clip of Luke Combs telling his fans, he's like, "Look, I can't sing the whole show, so we're gonna do the most we can before the doctor says I should stop, and then we'll refund your tickets for the night." And I'm just like, that's pretty
That's
weird
pretty
flex.
classy.
'Cause,
Yeah.
I'd have to check my statements so I could refund it.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not actually sure I
Yeah.
can do that. I'd love to, but
But yeah, people have gotten. I think true concert goers can have an appreciation for the toll it takes on, like the toll touring takes on the voice, because it's the most delicate instrument. It's just
Yeah.
like one thing can just totally knock
Right.
you out, and to be able to fight through it. I remember I had to go to a rock doctor one time.
Rock doctor.
Got 2 shots in my arm, and I played the show. I was in Boston, and it was the last show of the tour. And then on the way home, my eardrum ruptured, and my TM. He was driving the van on the shift, and I was in the passenger seat, and he said he could hear my ear like squeal.
Whoa.
So it was pretty dope. Yeah. But it's healed. We're good now. I have a
I
little
was
bit
going
of
to say, I
ringing.
bet that
but
felt
yeah.
great.
Wait, so you can hear that? That's crazy.
Damn.
I
Yeah,
think
that's rough.
I got lucky because it wasn't like a full on pop, but like the way that it ruptured was like all the pressure and fluid or whatever. Just it was like when you squeeze the balloon,
Yeah.
you
Oh
just
my
let
gosh.
it kind of whistle out. Yeah, it was.
I know. We're all like doing
I know
like,
that's.
I wish we had
sort of, like,
video of us all
cringe kind of,
cringing.
like-
It was bad pain. Yeah,
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Damn.
I didn't know that was even
I'm glad that
possible.
healed because that's also
Yeah.
a horrible injury for a musician.
Yeah.
I've ruptured that one a couple times. It's because I have a deviated septum. So like ears get weird, and you're putting monitors in all the time. And
Yeah.
I have a whole list of ailments that I can,
Yeah,
I can talk
I
about.
know. Well, this is again like, yeah, this is what happens right around 32 in my experience. Is
Yeah.
like your list of like weird little teeny elements. Just no, but I actually wanted to ask, how old were you when you wrote that song?
I would say I was 14.
You were 14.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Because there were a couple lines that stood out to me where I was like, had you ever hit anyone's bed before at that point? And also I just love, this is the thing I love so much about these old songs, because like that was objectively like a very good, very beautiful song.
Yes.
But you're talking about settling down. Like, was anybody
14,
trying to settle down with you when you were 14? Probably not.
Listen, I think at the time it wasn't things I was hearing in songs and movies and stuff. I had different definitions of them in my head, and so at that point, I'm trying to make things rhyme, and I'm trying to like.
Yeah.
I remember in that song I say the word "damn," and I was like, I'm a friggin'
Yeah.
I can't say
rebel.
this in front of my. I
Yeah.
can't say this in front of my
My
parents.
dad's gonna ground me for this one.
It's got such gravitas, that
Yeah.
song. It sounds like it's an old blues song, you know?
It
almost like,
reminds
you
me
know?
of that song Pete Molinari played us.
Oh yeah.
Pete Molinari played us a song that he wrote when he was like 15, and it was like that similar like world weariness, of like what was like it's too late. Was that what it was called?
Oh,
and it's
like
like
everything's over.
Too late for what? You're 15 years
Yeah.
old. What are you talking about?
I think maybe it was at that age where we all have experienced where it's like you have some disdain for the world and like your own sort of journey feels like what am I doing and everything, and I was just happy to have a finished song too. So
Yeah.
and it didn't really clock with me that it was heavy or sad or whatever. Like most of the songs that I write, it's in the moment. Sometimes I'll channel something that tears me up a little bit, but usually I'm just like, okay, it's very like methodical at this point, and almost like a math equation to get the order that you want right. Not like verse chorus, but like, okay, I need to do this now, and I need to say this now. And when I play the songs for people, they're like, "What's going on, dude? What's up with you?"
Well, that's interesting because, sometimes you're like, oh, God, who hurt you? But also, like, I think it's interesting that you're sort of like calculated mathematical approach. I'm like wondering if that's like your scientific parents' influence
That
on
could
you.
be. It could be. I try very hard to make it still that kind of organic, holistic thing, and because the handwriting and all that and everything. But yeah, it does sometimes really feel not robotic, but like maybe it's a defense mechanism.
Right.
Maybe
Get yourself a little bit of distance from the raw
in this
feeling.
structure. So yeah.
Oh, that's
Well,
cool.
I mean, probably also the more you've done it as a job, the more it does become like a more defined process rather
Yeah.
than just like, I'm going to sit here and feel.
It's the blessing and the curse of going in for multiple sessions for with other writers and stuff. Like being a professional songwriter or whatever. Like you find yourself in rooms where some people have 2 or 3 of those a day.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
and I've never been a quantity over quality type of writer. Like some contract career writers are doing like 200 songs a year
Wow.
to get 4 placements.
That's exhausting.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy if I get 5 like songs. Like some,
You're like, I'd
especially on,
rather
like,
just
big
write 5
touring
good
years.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I'm in LA or whatever, it gets pretty prolific, and then you find yourself kind of in the motions of that. But
So
yeah.
how did you go from like writing in your bedroom to like playing out? Were you like doing open mics or like what? How did that kind of process go for you?
When I graduated, so when I was in high school, I would do dinner sets. I would play at restaurants, go 6 to 10.
Oh, wow.
And I would have, they didn't pay me, I'd have a fish bowl that had tips written on it.
Nice.
Fortunately, the fish was called Tips, so I just had to kill the fish, and then I could take tips. And basically, I would just do covers for 4 hours, and then once I started writing songs, I would like, throw them in. I didn't have to like promote anything. I didn't have to like talk in between songs because everyone was just eating.
Right.
Occasionally, some like friends would come to the restaurant and their parents and be like, "Yeah," but those shows kind of gave me a bit of a what's the word, like preliminary sort of experience performing in front of people where their backs were turned, so I could feel a bit more comfortable, kind of figuring it out. And I had my binder of songs and tabs and everything because 4 hours is a long set.
Yeah.
And then once I got out of high school, there was the summer before college where I came to Nashville, and I had enough songs that I was proud of to perform. I don't play them anymore. And they they took me to like every open mic. So
You like your parents?
no, I went by myself.
Oh.
And I either walked or took cabs.
Oh.
And
Nice.
yeah, it was pretty legit.
Yeah.
And kind of the lack of awareness of the real world of it all. Like I was not quite hitchhiking, but I was just like, if somebody was at the open mic, I'm like, where are you staying? And I'm like, at this hotel. I would just get in their car and I was like, yeah, thanks for the ride. Cool. It was 18, and I played the Bluebird, which was like
Classic.
Yeah, and for any Swifties out there, that was like the big open mic that she got discovered at and everything. And so we did that one. We did a bunch off kind of Broadway, like all the hotels had open mic nights in their restaurants, and it was a really cool experience because it was people I'd never met before, and I was singing sometimes in a round with other writers. So I got my butt kicked.
Classic, yeah.
Took that straight to New York, and then I think 2009 or 2010, my first show was at a place called Rockwood Music Hall at 3 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
And it was played for 2 cops. They thought they were getting coffee. Yeah.
You're like,
Begged them to
uh-oh.
stay.
The
Yeah.
matinee show for the cops.
Yeah.
They
stayed
found
for
out
like
I
10
hopped a
minutes.
gate on the subway.
Yeah, right. And then Rockwood, they're kind of consolidating their business now. They're back to the one stage, but back then they were expanding. They had 2 stages. They ended up with a 3rd one, and the owner kept asking me to come back. So the second show I ever played in New York, I opened for Nora Jones at the bigger
Nice.
stage.
Whoa.
And it was
Jeez.
I didn't know I was doing it. There was a secret name, and they just like, we need someone to kill time.
Shut up.
So
What?
it
Wow.
was really weird. And
That's amazing.
that was when I was still
Yeah.
playing the Taylor, because D'Angelico and I weren't friends yet. But yeah, it's been I basically played all through the Lower East Side, pretty much nonstop. If it was just me or if it was with my other band, or I played bass in a punk band in college.
What?
Just constantly gigging.
What was that band called? I want to
Yeah.
hear some of that.
It was called, I don't know if he still has anything up, but it was called Clown Face.
Clown Face.
It was very cool, and I wore an adhesive mustache as facial hair callback. Yeah.
That's very punk.
Because we've
rock.
established you
Yeah.
cannot grow one.
Can't do it.
So we'll just tape one on. Yeah.
Can't do it, yeah. Maybe all the years of tearing the thing off, that's what's hindered my growth.
That's why.
But,
Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
it patchy. Yeah.
but then went back to Pittsburgh over the summers with my band. We got the Maps and Atlases gig, and James Vincent McMorrow asked us to open in Pittsburgh at this amphitheater, which was cool. Kind of a bigger stage for us, just a few college kids in the music program that are like jazz drummer, jazz bassist. It wasn't. It was a sick band, but I think like the timing of it all and the indiness of it all, it was hard to like keep it together once school was over. Fortunately, we got that gig, and then maybe a year later, I was working on my own stuff. My first song was called Coloring, and James, his agent, reached out saying, hey, can that band open for him in the States for like 2 weeks? And I was like, this is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And I sent him the demo, and I was like, look, the band's dead, but I have this song that won't be out for the shows, but I'll still play. And he was like, yeah, go do it. And we did, I want to say like 11 shows across the eastern half of America. And then a couple months later, he and I got along, took me to Canada. I ended up going to Europe with him not long after that. So I owe James Vincent McMorrow a lot in terms of what got me out on the road.
Shout out James.
Yeah.
So, wow. That really is like a pretty auspicious beginning.
Is that where you met D'Angelico?
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I didn't meet D'Angelico until 2019.
Oh, wow.
You've only had that guitar for a couple years?
Yeah, I've had it.
Damn, you play it like you've known it for your whole life.
Well, it's been really good to me because I do all these drop tunings for the violin type stuff and everything.
Yeah, and I noticed the
yeah.
pizzicato playing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It all makes
It
it
looks-
full circle.
That's such
Very
a fun.
effortless.
That's such a fun thing for me to know now, like that you're doing that, because I just alternate tunings feel like magic to me.
Love it.
But okay, so James Vincent McMorrow, you're like besties now, and then I just have to ask, like, how the fuck did you end up writing a song for Beyonce? I mean, like,
Extreme talent.
besides the obvious, yeah. I mean, how did that happen?
I think if you get a placement for any artist, certainly at a major label capacity, it's like winning the lottery regardless of their scale.
Yes.
Obviously, that being my first placement, I skipped a lot of steps.
Yeah, you ran before you walked.
I think the right place, right time phrasing on that couldn't be more true. The song's great.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
going to be.
It is.
It's going to be my first single, and then I had some friends from school that were interning at Rock Nation. They ended up, after all was said and done, getting me signed on with Rock Nation and Universal for publishing. But I think the bulk of the story was basically like Jay was walking down the hall. It was kind of one of those like get him to the Greek moments where the executive kind of walks out of the room like, "Where's my Teddy Grahams? Also, send me that song." and so they heard a few demos, and I started talking to some of the executives there, and they told me, "Yeah, she wants to cut this song," and I didn't really know how this worked at the time. So I said I had to call my dad. And,
Adorable.
and he kind of threatened to kind of disown me if I didn't do it. He doesn't know a single Beyonce song. I don't know if he even knows mine. But he was like, this is why you're in New York. This is why you're doing this and everything. And so every song I write, because I'm not a 200 a year guy, is like, they're all my children. And so parting ways with any of them, I've gotten better at it now, but parting ways with that one was really an interesting experience. And then the way that she cut it and performed it and everything was really a breath of fresh air, because she did it very understated, and it opened that album, which was quite the honor. And then I got to see her perform it. The only time she's ever played it, I got to see her perform it.
Oh, wow.
So special. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that gave me
Amazing,
full
man.
body
It was
chills.
cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it just comes down to that type of thing, like right place, right time. And I'm very lucky. Luck is the hardest thing to have. And so I got a little bit of it that day. Yeah.
But you got to have the luck and the preparedness, like, right?
Yeah, you gotta be
like
ready
you
to
had
go.
done all the work to be ready for that lucky
Oh, yeah.
moment.
It was a
oh
sick
my
demo.
God.
Oh, yeah.
That is so cool. Do we have time for him to play us another song?
Do you want
I can
to
sing
play
another
us
song.
something else?
Yeah.
Yeah, anything current? You got anything that's
Yeah.
like
I can do a
unreleased?
song.
Sweet.
Or if you want to play that song or whatever you want to play.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you want to
Now
cover
we're
your own song?
talking.
Yeah, can you cover your own song for us,
Yeah.
please?
Yeah. So this is called Pray You Catch Me. It's originally called Praying You Catch Me. She cut off the ing.
Beyonce.
And yeah, I think in certain cities this gets requested a lot because I just play it a bit differently.
You can taste the dishonesty, it's all over my breath as I pass it off so cavalier, but even as a test, constantly aware of it all. Mighty lonely, pressed against the walls of your world, praying I catch you whispering, praying you catch me listening. I'm praying I catch you whispering, praying you catch me, praying you catch me, praying you catch me, praying, praying. I'm praying you catch me. Nothing else ever seems to hurt like the smile on your face when it's only in my memory. It don't hit me quite the same. Maybe it's a cause for concern, but I'm not at ease, keeping my brain to the curb, praying I catch you whispering, praying you catch me listening. I'm praying I catch you whispering, praying you catch me, praying you catch me, praying you catch me, praying, praying. I'm praying you catch me.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Kevin, thank you so much. Oh my God, we could talk to you all day.
I know.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
fun to hang, you
beautiful.
know?
Yeah.
This is cool.
And we made it happen finally.
Yes, thank you.
Against all odds.
Do y'all ever do comeback episodes? Can we hang out again sometime?
Yes.
I would love to have you back.
please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks
I want to
for-
have you on our turf, though.
Thanks for your patience with
Yeah.
with finally getting us all together.
Thank you for your patience. Just for the listeners, we had some computer problems earlier, but Kevin, you stuck with us.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm happy to be
Kevin.
here, you know?
And it's all the perfect timing,
Yeah, good.
you know.
Yeah, let's do it again sometime.
Yeah.
Yes, please. we
Thanks,
have that
Kevin.
on
Thanks for
recording
having
that
me.
you said that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm down. I'm here for it. Yeah.
That's right. Play
Right.
it back.
Yeah.
We-
Just sample it, loop it, turn it into a Fred Again song.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah.
Kevin Garrett.
Thank you.
Check him out everywhere. Much love, brother.
Holy shit. If anyone ever deserved their success, it's Kevin. He is a peach complete with peach fuzz. Hey, sorry, Kevin. But truly such a talent and a hell of a nice guy. I really appreciate hearing about his process and how handwriting fits in. It makes me feel just like a little bit less old. But Kevin has been touring relentlessly. In fact, he's on tour with Gavin McGraw right this very minute, and you know who I'm talking about. I don't want to be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately. Amen. And he's going on his first European headlining tour this fall. Can I get a hell yeah? We're so proud of him and so thrilled we got a chance to interview him before he blows the fuck up. So please go stream all of his music, and for real, go see him live. You are welcome. We will, of course, put all the links to his socials, etc. in the show notes, but you know how to Google. That's Kevin Garrett with 2 T's. You obviously know how to find us, but in case you've suffered momentary amnesia, we're at The Awkwardness Podcast on Instagram. We are also on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok for now. Please subscribe, rate, and review on your platform of choice. We cannot tell you how much it helps us stand out from the pack with Algorithm Daddy. We've just started a Patreon. Right now, it's basically a tip jar if you feel like you really want to support what we're doing, but eventually we will be offering special content for subscribers, so get in on the bottom floor. We love you. Can't wait to share the rest of season 3 with you. Join us next week for more awkward musical content from currently cool adult people. XO, love you.